Harriet, what's going on? I heard that you and my son won't be coming to our house for Christmas this year. Is that true?
Oh, good evening, Dad. Well, yes, it's true. Curtis and I talked about it for a while, and we decided that we would spend Christmas at home this year instead of going over to your place.
I don't believe this. Why would you go and do a thing like that?
Well, haven't you seen the weather reports? We're supposed to get a once-in-a-decade blizzard on Christmas Eve. A lot of the stores around here are already announcing that they're not going to be open for either the 24th or the 25th out of fear for their employees' safety. It's pretty serious. We just feel like we'd rather not take the risk and go visit you guys on another day instead.
I cannot believe what I'm hearing. You think you're worthy of marrying into our family with an attitude like that? I should have known this is what you would be like when you refused to build a duplex with us before you and Curtis got married. Not only that, you had the nerve to continue working after your wedding when you should have quit in order to take care of my son's home for him and give me grandchildren. I am so disappointed in you as a daughter-in-law, Harriet. I don't know what that fool son of mine saw in you. Now you're telling me that you're not going to come to my house on Christmas because of a little bit of snow? It's not like you've never seen the stuff before.
Dad? Have you really not noticed how much it bothers Curtis when you say things like that to me? I'm sure he's talked to you about it before and told you to back off.
Excuse me?
And for the record, it wasn't me who first came up with the idea to spend Christmas at home this year. It was Curtis.
That's not true.
Also, Curtis was the one who first came out against your proposal of building a duplex together, not me. And once again, it was Curtis who encouraged me to keep working at my same job after getting married. He's been very supportive of me and my career aspirations.
What a load of nonsense!
Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm actually out of town on business at the moment, so I'll be taking my leave.
What? Your company sends the women on business trips? Don't they know you have more important things to be doing at home?
Well, Curtis and I both share housework duties, and I'm the person in charge of this region, so...
This conversation isn't over. We still have a lot of things to discuss, Harriet.
I have to get up early tomorrow morning, so I'm going to bed now.
Harriet! It's precisely this bratty, rebellious attitude of yours that made me oppose you marrying my son in the first place. I always told Curtis that he made an unbelievable mistake in marrying you instead of Charity. They've known each other since they were kids. They understand each other. They grew up in the same town, share the same culture. They're the perfect match. What was that imbecile thinking, choosing you over her? My only wish is that there was some way for me to get him to divorce you. How I'd love to be able to look Charity in the face and call her my daughter-in-law.
Mr. Wainwright, are you there? It's an emergency.
Oh, if it isn't my darling little Charity. Are you trying to get in touch with Curtis? At this time of day, I'm pretty sure he's at work. Can I give him a message for you?
No, this is about Curtis. He's been taken to the hospital.
What? What in the world happened to him? The hospital?
Curtis and I were going to meet up for lunch today. I was at the cafe waiting for them to arrive, and I saw Curtis across the street coming toward me, right? When all of a sudden a car drove straight through a red light and ran right into Curtis.
Oh no, that's terrible.
It looks like more than one person was injured in the crash because 2 ambulances arrived on the scene a short while later. I was on the scene, so I volunteered to go to the hospital together in the ambulance Curtis was loaded into.
What hospital were you taken to, Charity?
It's Western General Hospital, the one on North Franklin Drive. Please, Mr. Wainwright, hurry over here as fast as you can.
Got it. I'll tell my wife we'll be there soon. Harriet, what do you think you're doing? Exactly when are you planning on coming to see Curtis at the hospital? In all the time he's been here, you haven't come by to see him one single solitary time. Have you no shame? Don't you feel any responsibility to be here with him? Let me state this as simply as possible. Your husband is in the hospital, Harriet, and you, his wife, have not come by to see him a single time. Are you insane? Not only haven't you come by, you haven't even tried to contact him. He could have died for all you know. Oh, but not to worry. While you've been shirking your responsibilities as the wife of my son, Charity, a superior woman to you in every way imaginable, has been coming down here almost every day to visit him and check up on his condition. Every day that goes by, you make me more and more convinced that I'm right. Charity would make a far better wife for Curtis than you ever could. Hello there, Charity. I'm terribly sorry to have shouldered you with the burden of looking after Curtis for us. The restaurant we run is very small. There's only my wife, myself, and a few part-time staffers. If we're not there to handle things, then we'd have to shut it down, and we obviously can't do that. If our restaurant were a bit closer, then we'd at least be able to stop by from time to time, but unfortunately we're on the opposite side of town.
It's fine, Mr. Wainwright. Don't worry about it. After all, I'd do anything to be able to spend more time with Curtis. This is like a dream come true.
I'm glad to hear that. You know, Charity, you really are one fine young woman. Generous, caring, self-sacrificing. Nothing at all like that heartless, soulless, worthless Harriet.
Speaking of Harriet, do you know what's going on with her? As far as I can tell, she hasn't even come by the hospital once to see him.
I thought that was the case. I can't even get in touch with her. She won't answer texts or calls. Her parents have already passed away, and I don't know the contact information of any of her other family members, so the only thing I can do is wait for her to respond. There's no other way for us to figure out exactly what the hell she's doing. But since she's his wife, I assume she's his emergency contact, so there's no way she doesn't know about his accident. Seriously, what is wrong with that girl?
You know what I think? I think she's using this as an opportunity to do what she's always wanted to do, but couldn't because Curtis was around. You know what I mean?
What?
Curtis is so ridiculously trusting of her. No matter how many times I try to tell him about her, he's just like, no way, Harriet's not like that. She would never do that to me. It's pathetic. I mean, think about it. Not only has Harriet not been over here, but she hasn't even gone back to their house yet all this time.
Wait, really? You're sure? Wow, I should have expected that was the case, but to hear that it's actually true is too sad to bear.
Don't you think it's time we made our move and got them to divorce? I mean, it pains me so much to see Curtis pining after such an unfaithful wife.
Yes, Charity, you're exactly right. The time has come. It's time that my son got the wife he deserves. You! Hello, Harriet. I'm writing to let you know that I've talked it over with my wife, and we've decided that you do not deserve to be married to our son. Not only have you not come to the hospital for the entire time he's been hospitalized, you're off doing who knows what in who knows where, and haven't even been back to your house. Furthermore, you have yet to respond to or even read a single one of my messages. As such, we have determined that the only way forward is for you to leave. You're going to divorce my son as soon as possible.
Hello to you too, Dad. I'm sorry it's taken me so long to get back to you.
There you are. I suppose once I brought the D word into the picture, you realized I meant business. But you're too late, Harriet. There's no changing my mind now. My decision is final.
Let's back up a bit, shall we? First order of business. I've been staying in the exact same hospital as Curtis this entire time.
What? Wait just one moment. What do you mean you've been staying at the hospital? As in you've been renting a room nearby?
No, I mean I've been hospitalized. I was the other person injured in the crash involving Curtis. and the driver who ran a stoplight?
You were?
It looks like you're under a massive misunderstanding, so allow me to explain things from the beginning in the simplest terms possible. First, I was in the intensive care unit for the first few days of my time in the hospital. I've been cleared to leave the ICU and am now in a regular room, so I was finally able to get my phone repaired recently, which was heavily damaged in the crash. It just came back to me yesterday, but I suffered some serious injuries to my hands, so I haven't been able to type by myself. The messages that are being sent to you right now are being written by a friend of mine who came to see me today, as that's the only way I would be able to reply to you.
But that doesn't make any sense. If you've been here this whole time, why hasn't Curtis said anything about it? He's had ample opportunity.
Yes, well, there's a very, very good reason for that. Charity, who's been clinging on to Curtis like a fly in molasses since the time we were dating and sees me as her mortal enemy, has been in the room with him every day and practically never leaves his side.
What? Charity?
It also seems as though she's invited herself to stay at our home while she's here. If she knew that I was here at the same hospital, there is no telling what she might try to do to me in my current state. So he thought it would be best for me to just keep quiet about it. I asked the doctors to transfer me to a different hospital to avoid this problem, but they said there was no way they would be able to safely transfer me in my condition. So we went with Plan B. I asked the doctors to instead transfer me to a private room within the hospital and leave a standing order to refuse visitors without express permission from me.
That's...
By the way, the only reason I'm able to reveal this all to you right now is because Charity's parents have also arrived and they're keeping tabs on her for me.
What? Her parents?
I understand that Charity, when Charity told you about the accident, she told you that another driver ran a red light and struck Curtis as he was walking, is that right? But that's not what really happened. No, the truth is that while Curtis was waiting for the pedestrian stoplight to turn green, he was pushed from behind into the road, and that's when he was hit by that car. So the car wasn't at fault at all, it was the person who pushed him.
What? You mean someone was essentially trying to murder Curtis? Who was it? Who's responsible for this? I'll see to it personally that they're brought to justice.
It was Charity.
Charity?
In her defense, it seems that she was just so happy to see Curtis that she started sprinting towards him, and when she wasn't able to hit the brakes, she rammed right into him. Charity's on the small side, but an adult running at that rate of speed was enough to push Curtis off balance, so he fell face first into the road.
That's unbelievable!
There's more. I was actually with Curtis at the time of the accident.
Oh?
And because we were holding hands when Charity pushed him, I got pulled into the road right alongside him. I don't think what happens next needs any explanation, so I'll just skip that part.
Yes, I think I get the picture.
As for what happens next, I'll have to talk with Curtis about the details, but we're planning to file a police report.
A police report? You mean you're pressing charges?
We've been contacted by multiple witnesses who were there the day of the accident, so there's really no escaping this for Charity. She's the one responsible for what happened to us.
I see.
That's all the time I have to speak to you today.
What? What's going on?
Nothing, it's just that the friend who's typing these messages for me has to go to work tomorrow morning, so she's going home now. My intention was only to clear up any misconceptions you may have had about what really happened. We can discuss the more minor details at a later time, so we'll have to continue this conversation another day. Good night.
Charity, I just spoke to Harriet. She told me about what really happened. If your parents are taking charge of you, I suppose you won't be able to respond to any of my messages. I can't believe it. It wasn't a car running a red light. You just rammed into Curtis so hard that he fell right into the road. I had such a hard time believing it that I talked to your parents directly, and they confirmed that everything Harriet said was true. And to think I was trying to get Curtis to marry you. I had no idea you were such a psychopath. Oh, my dear God in heaven, this is absolutely terrible. Harriet, what's the meaning of this? Curtis said he's going to legally change his last name to yours? He even sent us a letter declaring that he no longer wants to have anything to do with us. He's disowning us as his parents. Please, Harriet, I'm begging you, you've got to talk to him. Do something about this. Talk some sense into him. Please, Harriet, Curtis is my only son. I was planning on having him take over the family business, but now he's disowning me? What am I going to do? Look, I'll accept your marriage to my son. I'll accept you as my daughter-in-law. I'll accept you as part of the family. I'll even allow you to keep working, and you can go out of town on business as much as you'd like. Oh, and I'll also compromise and have you and Curtis do an 80-20 split on the housework. So please, you need to convince Curtis not to disown us and get him to reconsider changing his last name. He can't just get rid of his last name. That's my family name. When she read the letter, my wife was so shocked that she fell down and threw out her back. Harriet, answer me, please. I'm begging you. Give my son back to me, Harriet.
Soon after Charity's parents took custody of her, the friend who had been coming to the hospital to check on me stopped by our house to see what state she had left it in. I was not entirely surprised to hear that every single thing that had anything to do with me had been damaged or destroyed entirely. There was more than enough for my friend to realize that we would no longer be safe in our own home, cleaned up the mess and removed all of our valuables to a safe location. Additionally, she's also arranging for an apartment to live in temporarily until we can find a new house. Now, since Charity obviously has no money of her own, her parents ended up footing the bill for all the money she owed us to repair the damage she caused, as well as moving expenses. As I told my father-in-law, we also submitted a police report and are pressing charges against her for breaking and entering, property damage, assault, and a litany of other crimes. We won't be settling out of court with her under any circumstances. We're seeing to it that she's put away for a very, very long time. A few months after that, Curtis and I were finally released from the hospital. The same friend who helped us find a new apartment also assisted us in restarting our lives in a new location, including helping us secure jobs similar to what we were doing before at her company. Faced with the unmoving determination of his son to abandon the family business, his father made the heartbreaking decision to simply close down the restaurant that he had worked all his life to build into a successful venture. As for us, however, we finally found peace in our new lives away from all the deeply troubled people in our past.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
Hey there, Lucy. Bad news, girlfriend. I'm pregnant, and your husband's the father. Wait, Anya? Is that you? I haven't heard from you for, what now, 5 years? And the first thing you say to me is, that? What's going on here? I just told you. I'm pregnant, and you're precious and faithful, or so you thought. Husband Henry is the father. You know what that means, don't you? I bet you do. We went through the same sex ed class in middle school. Oh my God. Now that you mention it, Henry hasn't been around the house for some time now. I can explain that. He's been living in my apartment with me. You're a smart girl. You always got some of the best grades in the class. You know what you need to do now, don't you? Listen, Anya, there are certain lines that you shouldn't cross when trying to play a trick on someone. I mean, seriously, you're an adult. You should know better than to tell such ridiculous stories. Aw, you poor thing. You're trying so hard to hold on to your pride. But think about it. You've been trying for so long to get pregnant, but you still haven't been able to have a baby, right? You being a broken woman has kept Henry from having the child he's always wanted for 7 whole years. I'm not sure what you mean by broken woman, but if you're implying I'm infertile, the doctors have said no such thing. Henry's so lucky he found me. If not, he would have stayed childless and miserable with you forever. Oh, Lucy, it pains me to say this. Who am I kidding? It doesn't pain me at all. But this baby wasn't an accident. Henry wanted me to get pregnant. He wanted me to have his baby, and I gave it to him. What the? You got pregnant on purpose? I think you deserve to know that Henry says he has no use for a barren woman and that he wants to divorce you and marry me. Well, this should be entertaining. Entertaining? What do you mean? Oh, it's nothing. Nothing at all. Congratulations, Anya. I wish you the best of luck. Oh my God, you're pathetic. But go ahead, keep up the act via text. I know you're crying your eyes out in real life. Just hurry up and divorce him as quickly as possible, got it? After all, I'm already 6 months pregnant. We'll probably wait until the baby's been born and things have settled down to have our wedding, but if possible, I'd like to file our marriage certificate before the birth. So yeah, be a dear and sign on the dotted line when you get the paperwork, okay? Bye-bye, girlfriend. Thanks so much for divorcing your husband, my husband. And it was just in the nick of time, too. I'm already in my last month. With this, we'll be able to get legally married before the birth with no problems at all. Did you get the divorce settlement payment in your account yet? Henry's parents were kind enough to foot the bill for us. We didn't have to pay anything. Isn't it great, marrying into a wealthy family? They can throw out thousands of dollars like that at the drop of a hat. I bet you miss this lifestyle already, huh? Wow, you already got married? That was quick. Of course we did. We took a picture of us together with the judge who married us. Do you want me to send it to you? I'll pass. Are you sure? I look really good in my white dress. And we made sure to edit my pregnant belly out of it. About that picture, are Henry's parents in it too? Huh? Yeah, they are. Most of the pictures were just me and Henry, but his mom and dad were really excited to take a picture with all of us, so we had someone take a picture of all 4 of us at the front of the courthouse. Why do you ask? They did the same thing when me and Henry took our marriage certificate to the courthouse, too. Oh, really? Well, I guess that makes sense. They're so excited for their son to get married, they want to tag along to see the exact moment that their marriage becomes legal, huh? And now you're jealous that they're doing it for me and not for you? Aw. I feel a lot of things right now, but jealous isn't one of them. There you go, acting all big and strong again. You should know, Henry's parents had a lot to say about you. Ever since they found out you were a useless, barren, dried-up excuse for a woman, they'd been waiting for you to divorce him, but you were just too stubborn. They were incredibly grateful to me, too. Not only did I give them their first grandchild that they'd been waiting 7 whole years for, I also got rid of the dead weight that's been holding Henry back for so long. That's you, by the way. Oh, Anya, you always knew how to make me laugh, even back in middle school. What's so funny? You really don't get it, do you? Get what? Oh, nothing. To be honest, I'd been wanting to divorce Henry too, so if you're honestly happy with hitching your wagon to that family, then I don't really have any reason to stop you. You have my full blessing to do whatever you want with him from now on. Lucy, what's with you? You're acting like you're enjoying this? Is that how I seem to you? Maybe there's something to that. Will you stop speaking so cryptically like that? It's getting creepy. Well, let's step the creepiness up a notch then, shall we? Henry and his family have some incredibly outdated beliefs about women, like the kind that a simple internet search would cure in about 5 seconds if they ever cared enough to look it up. What, are you saying they're fundamentalist religious nuts or something? I don't believe you. The simpler explanation is just that they wanted an heir to carry on the family business. You, being infertile, meant that they were never going to get one, so they hated you. But fortunately for them, now they do have an heir because unlike you, I'm actually a real woman. Real women can have babies, you know. And guess what? We just found out that the baby's a boy. Uh-huh. Well, just don't ever tell me that I didn't warn you. There is something very important about Henry that you apparently don't know, and his family's outdated beliefs are connected to that. Again, with the creepy, cryptic statements. Stop that! Great news, Lucy. The baby was just born. I swear he just popped right out of me. I barely even felt it. Oh, wow. The baby was born already? If I'm not mistaken, your due date wasn't for another few weeks, right? That seems kind of soon. Yeah, and so what? Early or not, the baby was born as healthy as a horse. What are you getting angry at me for? I was just concerned about you and the baby. Premature births carry a lot of risks. Surely you're aware of that. Oh, is that really why you asked? What's the matter? Can you think of another reason why I'd be asking? No, you creepy weirdo. The doctor said the baby was safe to be born any time, and the baby was born healthy. I don't see why anything else should matter. I'm healthy, the baby's healthy, Henry's happy. End of story. Really? Well, I'm glad for you then. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm at work right now and need to put away my phone. This is the life. We moved into Henry's parents' house so their maid could help take care of me and the baby. And let me tell you, their maid is incredible. She does all the cleaning and cooking so I don't have to lift a finger. Plus, Henry's parents are so thrilled about the birth of their grandson that I barely even have to look after him myself either. This is paradise. Oh, and by the way, about our wedding, it's scheduled for about 6 months from now. We booked the biggest venue in the state. And do you know how much Henry's parents are shelling out for the wedding? $100,000. Can you believe that? Obviously, I'm not going to invite you, but I'll be sure to send you tons of pictures of how awesome I look, huh? Today's the big day, Lucy. It's the day of me and Henry's wedding. You know, the one his parents paid $100,000 for. I told you about that, right? And oh my God, my dress is fabulous. They must have spent half the cost of the wedding on this dress alone. They had it custom made by an Italian designer, and let me tell you, that guy knows wedding dresses. Oh, today's the day, huh? Well, congratulations. What? Didn't I tell you? I thought I did. I mean, you kinda did, but all you told me was that it was 6 months away. You never gave me any specifics. Oh, oopsie. Sorry, girlfriend. It was no big deal. I wasn't invited anyway. If your wedding is today, that means Henry's parents are out of the house right now. Uh-oh, are you planning on going berserk and trashing their house while they're away? You're still in love with Henry, aren't you? No and no. I was just thinking to myself via text, which now that I stop and think about it does seem kind of odd. But anyway, the thing is that I finally moved out of the house that Henry and I were living in just a little while ago. You what? Okay, you're definitely still in love with him. Please, I was just waiting until I found a decent place to move into, that's all. While I was boxing up my things for the move, I noticed that Henry had left behind quite a few of his own personal things. It wasn't just some junk that I could throw away, so I packed it all up in a box and sent it to Henry's parents' address since that's where he'd be living. The delivery company said that it should be arriving today. Well, that shouldn't be a problem. The delivery driver can just put it in the locking delivery box they have at the front door. Oh, they have one of those? They didn't before. Well, you know, things change. I happen to have a wee bit of a shopaholic side to me. I buy things online all the time. They put it there just for little old me. I see. Well, in that case, I suppose there shouldn't be any problem then. Hey, I just told you your parents renovated their house for me. Doesn't that make you angry, jealous, sad, anything? I think I'll get back to unpacking now. Enjoy your wedding, Anya. Don't ignore me, Lucy. Make sure you take care of that box when you get home. Lucy, what is this? What is what? The box you sent in the mail today. Henry's parents got home from the wedding before us and opened it up. Uh-oh. But why did they do that? It was addressed to Henry, not them. They had no right to open it like that. Well, for what it's worth, I don't mind if they opened it. None of it's my stuff. It's all Henry's. Oh, well, I'm so glad that you're feeling just fine and dandy. Meanwhile, my life is in total chaos because of this. Yeah? Why's that? Henry, he's infertile? And not just kinda infertile. He's the you will never ever possibly have a child kind of really infertile. I didn't know that. His parents didn't know that. Not even Henry knew, but now they all do. So now they're telling me that they think Henry isn't the child's real father. They're demanding that I get a paternity test. Well, from what you're saying, I'm getting that there was apparently something in the box of Henry's stuff that showed he was infertile? Obviously, I thought that went without saying. Okay, well, I was just confirming. You kind of skipped over that part. boy, you're really upset about this, huh? Was it maybe the envelope from the doctor that tipped them off? That was addressed to Henry directly, so I just sent it right over without opening it. Wow, that was his fertility test results? I was wondering when they would get those back to us. Are you saying that Henry had a fertility test done before we got married? But that doesn't make any sense. He never doubted that he was the father. At least, he never expressed any doubts to me. Why did he get a fertility test? We'd been trying for so long with no success that I figured one of us had to have some sort of issue. And after a ton of prodding, I finally got him to agree to both of us getting tested. So each of us went to a doctor that we knew and trusted and had them do a wide array of tests. As for why Henry didn't seem to know, this is just a guess, but the envelope arrived at the house just a little bit before the two of you got married, right? Well, back then he was living at your house. He was never at home to pick up the envelope. So he probably didn't know that he was infertile because he just never plain saw the test results. What? He went to all the trouble of getting tested, but he never even checked the results? Right? It's not like those tests were cheap either. I'll bet that since he was in a relationship with you and you got pregnant, he figured he didn't need to see the results. He thought you were his pregnancy test. Since he was assured that there was nothing wrong with him and that it was his barren wife who was the problem, he ran off with you and forgot all about the test. At least, that's the best explanation that I can come up with. What do you think, Anya? Got any better ideas? This can't be happening. I tried to tell you. Tell me what? I told you his family had some very outdated ideas about women. I wasn't referring to any religious belief, just the idea that fertility problems are all on women. They think men can't be infertile. They were thrilled that they finally had their grandson, but now they find out that the child they'd been fawning over for the last several months is probably not their grandson. Not only that, but now that they found out Henry can't have kids, they know that they will never have the grandson they dreamed of. That's got to be hitting them pretty hard right now. And keep in mind that this is all right after they forked out $100,000 for your wedding. Oh, Henry's dad invited a lot of big shots to your wedding, didn't he? Company executives, clients, business partners, and so on. It had to be a veritable who's who of the state's business scene. And since you lied and told them all that Henry was the father of your child, how do you think that's going to affect his dad's image when word about that inevitably gets out? There are going to be a lot of uncomfortable conversations at the negotiating table from now on. Oh no, I'm in a lot of trouble, aren't I? Yep, and you're going to have to take care of it on your own. Oh my God. I'll leave you to sort out the ruins of your life then. Wait, you've got to help me do something, Lucy. I'm in deeper than I've ever been in my entire life. I have no idea what I should do about this. A short while later, both Anya and her child were unceremoniously booted out of Henry's parents' house. I heard from a friend that the results of the paternity test came back, and the result was exactly what everyone expected it to be. With nowhere else to go, Anya moved back in with her own parents. Her troubles didn't stop there, though. She was sued for paternity fraud by Henry's family for the amount of money they had spent on supporting her and her child up until the truth came out. And they also wanted her to pay them back for a portion of the $100,000 wedding they paid for. Anya's parents nearly fainted when they saw the grand total of the money she was on the hook for, so they promptly booted her out of their house, too. Understandably, they didn't want to be seen as aiding and abetting her fraud. She found a job at a factory with free employee housing, and her wages are being garnished to cover her legal bills. But wait, there's more. Henry's family company had been teetering on the brink of bankruptcy for some time. They threw the lavish wedding as a way of assuring his dad's business associates that the company is actually doing super-duper great. As you all know, however, that didn't turn out very well, and word spread around town pretty fast. I think their estate will be shrinking exponentially in the near future. On the bright side, though, now they don't need to worry about finding someone to take over the family business anymore.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
Hey there, Minnie. I heard the big news. You're going on vacation, aren't you? Huh? Oh, good evening, Tabitha. What's this about? I just told you, silly. I heard you're going on a vacation. If you don't mind, could you tell me why you're asking? Because I'm going with you. What? You're the talk of the school, Minnie. Everyone knows how you, a single mother, started dating Carl, the only single father at the school, and then got married almost instantly. It's the romance of the century. Almost instantly? I mean, we were dating for about 2 years before we got married. That's not exactly what I would call almost instantly. Oh, don't be bashful. Go ahead and brag about it. All the mothers had a pact not to go after Carl, but you were the first one bold enough to break it, you sneaky little thing, you. Pact? What pact? I don't remember being part of any pact. Party or not, you broke the pact and stole Carl away from all of us. It was such a shock. But don't worry, none of us are the least bit jealous about your relationship. We're all thrilled for you. It's not like we were keeping it a secret. All of the mothers who I regularly speak to knew about this. So you're going on your honeymoon soon, right? Well, we have our 2 kids and jobs to work around, so we haven't really been able to make any sort of concrete plan as of yet. You think you're so sneaky just because you took Carl away from us, but I know all about your little plan, Minnie. I've heard the 2 of you talking about it. When? We've never talked about it in public before. Aha! So you have been planning it. I was right. Huh? You just said you've never talked about it in public before. That means you have talked about it in private. Of course we have. It's our honeymoon. How can we plan one without talking to each other about it? So, once again, I was right. You are planning your honeymoon. You might have been clever enough to hide your relationship with Carl, but you're not getting this one past me. That's not what I meant. We do want to go on a honeymoon, but like I told you, we're very busy and haven't made any concrete plans yet. We're just talking about it, as in discussing it. Oh, sure, I believe you. So, when are you going? I just told you we don't have any concrete plans yet. Wow, you are a stubborn little thing, aren't you? What is there to be stubborn about? We don't have any plans. That's what I've been trying to tell you this whole time. Fine, be that way. It doesn't bother me. I have my own ways of getting information. So I'll just have to go to my sources to find out the details. You may have gone behind my back with Carl, but that's an oversight I won't be repeating. You are an incredible person, Tabitha. Simply incredible.
Hey, Minnie. Do you have a minute?
Oh, hey, Carl. You don't usually text me from work. Is something up?
Nah. I was busy until around 1 today, so I skipped my usual lunch hour and decided to take my break now instead.
Ah, okay. So, what's up?
You're not gonna believe this. I had a big meeting with a client a few days ago, and one of my coworkers, Jake, helped me out a ton with getting ready for it, and so I took him out to a restaurant for lunch to thank him. And you know that woman Tabitha from school? I think she followed me.
What she is?
Yeah. Jake told me I had something stuck in my teeth, and when I used my phone selfie camera to try and take it out, I saw Tabitha sitting at the table right behind me.
You're joking.
I wish I was. She didn't appear to be trying to talk to me, so I thought it would be the best to just ignore her. Finished eating, and went right back to work as soon as possible. I know you're about to head over to school to pick up the kids, so I thought it would be for the best if I let you know as soon as possible, since you're likely to run into her.
All right, well, thanks for letting me know. Hey, Carl, are you done with work? Are you still okay to meet up like we planned?
Yep. I just walked out of the door to my office now.
Great. I just got on the subway myself. I dropped off the kids at their respective grandparents' places this morning, and they're also heading out right on schedule.
Yeah. My dad called me a few hours ago and let me know.
I hate to bring this up now and spoil the mood.
What is it?
I don't suppose Tabitha has said anything to you about this, has she?
Oh, her. She said that she was going to go to her sources or whatever to find out the details of our honeymoon, right?
Do you think it's safe to assume she didn't figure anything out, that she's still completely in the dark?
Well, considering the fact that not even we knew where we were going until a few days ago, yeah, I'd say we're in the clear. There's no way she knows anything about where we're going.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Okay, well, I'll be waiting for you at the airport like we planned. Are you gonna make it here by 6:30?
Yeah, no worries. I'll probably be there a little early, if anything. See you then.
Hi there, Minnie. Or should I say, g'day, mate. Where are you right now? Tabitha, what is this about? I'm in Australia too, sweetie. Let's meet up in the hotel lobby, okay? What? You're in Australia? Oh, come on now, Minnie. I've already told you, you're not going to fool me. You can stop pretending now. I know all about you and Carl's big honeymoon in Australia. I've known for weeks. So just give up already and let me tag along with you, okay? Tabitha, I legitimately have no idea what you're talking about. I'm currently sitting in my home living room watching TV. Minnie. You just don't know when you've been beaten, do you? Beaten at what? Okay, since you're intent on not admitting defeat, I'll just skip along to the important part. There's something you need to know about Carl. The truth is, he's actually in love with me, not you. What? A while back, I went over to Carl's office to see if I could pry the details of your honeymoon out of him. I watched him walking into a restaurant with what looked like a coworker of his, so I took the liberty of following in after him. I sat right behind him, and it seemed like he noticed I was there partway through his meal. After that, he started spilling all the beans about your big honeymoon in Australia. I knew right away that he was really doing it because he wanted to make sure I knew everything. I see. And he said that we were going today, did he? That's right! Now do you understand? I heard about it all from Carl himself, so there's no point in trying to hide it from me. I hope you don't take this too personally, but you're not even half the woman I am, and Carl sees that. Carl and I won't be needing you on our honeymoon, so you can be a dear and get on to the next plane home. Oh, and I'd deeply appreciate it if you could watch after his little runt until we get back. Actually, I'd love it if you just took that kid off our hands permanently. Oh, boy. Listen, Tabitha. Aw, are you going to cry for me? I'm all ears. That's not our honeymoon. That was just his business trip. Would you just give up already? It's your honeymoon. I know it is. No, our honeymoon was 1 month ago. What? And we didn't go to Australia. We just went to a nice little hotel with a spa resort for a few days. But he said he was going to Australia. The conversation between Carl and his coworker that you eavesdropped on was about their upcoming business trip. I have no idea how you came to believe that he was talking about our honeymoon. But the only thing you got right about the trip was the date. But no, that can't be. Hey, wait a second. This means that Carl is all alone on a business trip in Australia? And since you're still back at home, there's absolutely nothing that could come between the two of us. I still get the last laugh, Minnie. This is the perfect chance to make him mine for good. Read again, Tabitha. I told you the only thing you got right was the date. What do you mean? I mean, you're making a mistake that people used to make in 90s comedies when the writer wanted the character to seem oblivious about the outside world. Carl's business trip is to Austria. Isn't that the same thing? No, Tabitha. Austria and Australia are not the same country. Don't be ridiculous. Of course they're the same country. Austria is just an abbreviation. Take 10 seconds and search for Austria on the internet. Fine, wait right there. Oh no. Oh yes. Sorry, Tabitha. But you're on almost the complete opposite side of the earth from Carl right now. He's in Austria, the country in Europe, not Australia, the place with kangaroos and koalas. No, that can't be. I didn't even know that Austria was a country. That does not surprise me at all. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful time on your solo trip to Australia. But I don't know anything about this country. I don't know anyone here. You speak English, don't you? I'm sure you'll manage to get by somehow. You've got to do something. Can you book me a flight from Australia to Austria? Why can't you do it yourself? Because I used up all my money on my ticket to Australia. This is partly your fault too, you know. If you would have told me the truth about your honeymoon, I wouldn't be stuck here right now. Take responsibility for your actions and buy me a ticket to Austria this instant. Tabitha, just a few minutes ago you told me your intent was to kick me out of my own honeymoon and steal my husband from me. You even called my husband's child, who I legally adopted, a little runt. Tell me, what reason could I possibly have for agreeing to save you from your own stupidity right now? Because you're my friend. I am not now, nor have I ever been, your friend. It's still your fault that I'm here. You should have told me where you were going when I asked you. You're guilty of fraud. I'll sue you. I would love nothing more than to see you waste more money that you don't have on a frivolous lawsuit. So please, go right ahead and sue me. In the meantime, you're an adult, so I think you can take care of yourself. I'll agree to drop my lawsuit if you buy me a ticket to Austria. My kids are calling me. Can we be done here? Just a one-way ticket is fine. Tell you what, how about I message your husband to have him buy the ticket for you? I'll let him know all about your situation. I'm sure he'll be eager to help. No, please don't. Anything but that. Okay, well then, you'll just have to pick up a part-time job or something in Australia to make the money yourself. So, you're not going to tell my husband, are you? Nah, I'm definitely going to tell him. He deserves the heads up so he can divorce you before I sue you for stalking Carl. Please, Minnie, can't we talk about this? You traveled halfway around the world in order to follow us on our honeymoon so you could send me packing and steal my husband from me. Please, Tabitha, tell me, precisely what is there for us to talk about in this situation? Well, I mean, what woman wouldn't want to get together with Carl? He's smart, successful, handsome. I'm aware. He is my husband, after all. Anything else? You stole him from me. I will never forgive you. In order for me to steal him from you, he would have had to be yours in the first place, which he never was. Now, my kids are calling me, so I'll be heading off. Hold it right there! You broke the mother's pact. You had no right to put your hands on Carl. He was mine. He is mine. You don't deserve him. Now buy me a ticket to Austria and don't tell my husband, or I'll sue you for something. Do you hear me? I'll sue you for something. Look what you did, Minnie. My husband divorced me. Since you ruined my marriage, you are now legally required to give me Carl. This is 100% your fault. I hope you have a good lawyer. Hi, Tabitha. Did you make it home okay? Carl is mine. Give him to me. Well, I guess if you really want him that badly. You mean you'll let me have him? Of course not, you moron. Please, you have to let me have him. If you ever even think about speaking to my Carl again, I'll call the police, press charges for stalking and harassment, and sue you so hard they'll put my case against you in law textbooks for centuries. Be grateful that the only thing you've lost thus far is your husband. Maybe you'd like your husband to get sole custody of your children? You wouldn't. Oh, I absolutely would. And you had better not try and test me. Got it? I got it, Minnie. Carl and I had no idea this was going on, but apparently Tabitha had been talking to all the other moms at school for ages about how much she wanted Carl for herself. She had been putting the moves on him since before we were dating, but she was so inept at it that Carl never even noticed. Once we got married, her flirting escalated into stalking. On some days, she would leave her kids at home alone in order to follow Carl around. That all came out during the child custody hearing suit from her husband, during which he was awarded full custody of all their children. Even her parents were so ashamed of her that they refused to let her move back in with them. You'd think that all of this would have taught her a lesson, but nope. Just a few months later, she started putting the moves on another father at the school. She went even crazier this time than she did with us, to the point that the police actually had to get involved. This left her with both a massive legal bill after the couple she was stalking sued her, as well as a criminal record. She was never much of a worker before all of this happened, but now with a criminal record to her name, it's going to be pretty difficult for her to find a job that will cover her living expenses and legal bills.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.